So I'm going to start this one out the correct way with a thank you to Matt from Transformers Talk Raw for sending this guy my way. This is the Toxitron Deluxe Class Laser Cycle. It's not Jazz, it's Laser Cycle. And we're going to talk about this mold again and whether or not this version is good or not in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and I'll let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, and also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is Laser Cycle. It's actually an unreleased G2 Jazz, if he was a motorcycle. We'll talk about all of that a little bit. I've never really been sold on this mold. I was not going to get it, but Matt from Transformers Talk Raw does a lot of like giveaways and stuff, and this guy happened to come my way. It is what it is. And the question is, do I have the issues and the problems with this that I had with Road Rocket? Or is this every bit as good as my Ariel was? Because I didn't have any issues with her. I'm a little skeptical because this is, except for a recolor, the exact same version of the mold that Road Rocket was. And I had to fix everything on her. She was abysmal. How will this one fare? Well, we're about to find out together when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this lad. And in a pretty unexpected turn of events, we're actually going to be taking a look at one of the Transformers Legacy Evolution Toxitron Deluxes by way of Laser Cycle. This came to me via Matt. You may know Matt a little bit better from his channel, Transformers Talk Raw. He's always running like giveaways and stuff, and that's where this guy came from. I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description. So we thank him for that. He also sent something else that I'm going to, I guess, mention as we go through here as well. So yeah, I guess check him out. This should be fairly easy because we've looked at this mold before. Once in episode 1009, that's when we looked at the Velocitron Speedia 500 Road Rocket, and that was an abysmal disappointment where I had to fix everything. We'll talk about that in just a little bit too. And a little bit of a remold and a reuse, ironically, that we looked at in episode 1076. And I say ironic because a lot of people thought that Ariel from the War Don 2-pack had a lot of QC issues. Mine didn't. Mine worked the way that I think the mold is supposed to work. So, is this going to be an abysmal mess like Road Rocket? Or is it going to be a success like Ariel? We will find out. Of course, before we can look at the character and whatnot, we have to look at that packaging first. And here we have the Legacy Evolution Toxitron packaging. On the front we have Laser Cycle in the motorcycle mode. Over here it's a close-up of the face. Over here it's our typical artwork but with harder lines, like it looks more cartoony than like, I don't know, CGI or something. And of course, on the back we have both of the alt modes. I suppose, like I'm saying both of the alt modes, but I suppose I should properly say robot mode and alt mode. Oh, we have super colorful toxic instructions, which, I mean, they're fine. We won't be showing the transformation here because of the other two reviews. We've already seen it with Road Rocket from robot to vehicle and with Ariel from vehicle back to robot. Also in the package was this picture of RC. You'll notice down in the corner it is autographed by Sue Blue herself, so I'm a little bit honored to actually have this. I don't live in a place that's conducive to me being able to get to like any of the TF cons or bot cons or cons or any of the other cons. So getting something like this is sort of at a reach for me. So I'm really thankful that Matt also threw this in the box along with Laser Cycle. And here we have Laser Cycle next to Road Rocket. You can see how they look together. Again, Laser Cycle is a bit of a paltry 56 grams. Very, very small for a deluxe. However, I will admit that there is a fair amount of engineering to this mold and a fair amount of paint. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I think that they gave up too much mass, but I always think they gave up too much mass. I don't like these cost-cutting measures. The Laser Cycles were a group very akin to like the laser rods, if you remember the laser rods, and there were 4 laser rods, and they were cars that came out in like the G2 era, so 94, 95, and there were a couple of Autobots Electro, probably the best known of the laser rods, and also the one that I'm pretty sure is prone to breakage the most, as well as Volt. Those were the Autobots. The Decepticons were Sizzle and Jolt. I know, some of that renaming is pretty bad. The Laser Cycles themselves were made up of ninjas, really. That's the way that they were depicted in Japanese fiction, and I think that's probably what BioCards said. And the ones we got were the red and blue version, that's Road Rocket. There's also Road Pig, who's a Decepticon, and Road Pig is more of like a... I guess Road Pig's more of like a black and red version. I kind of thought we would get Road Pig first. Then there was supposed to be a version that was Jazz, which is what we have here, and they're calling it Laser Cycle, and another version that was supposed to be Soundwave. And I think Soundwave was supposed to be like chrome and blue, and well, Jazz is this. Since the Toxitron line already has that all-orange juice Jazz, they didn't want to have like 2 unused G2 Jazz colorations. I think it was smart to call this something else. I'm okay with calling it Laser Cycle, even though that's like the gimmick, I suppose. I don't know. I guess I'm okay with it, I suppose. In terms of looks, let's do that score right away. This is actually fairly accurate to that unused Jazz mold. Starting from the bottom, working our way up, the feet here are black. They should definitely be yellow, but the shins, and I guess the calves, like the majority of the shin and calf should be yellow with green on the front. We have that. Black thighs, we have that. When we get to the waist, it should be white. I think the yellow fading is nice though. The main body and torso, that's basically supposed to also be white with some black in the center, which we have with the tummy. I'm going to take this out of it. While I don't have it done here, you saw it on Road Rocket with the tires behind the head. I don't have that done here, but honestly, it's a good idea to do it because that's somewhat of an iconic look for this mold, and I'll do that in a second. We don't have the like saw blade thing, little bit of a bummer. The arms were supposed to be black on the top, which they are, and then white down on the forearms, which they are. The added green and yellow is a bit of a departure, but I'm okay with it. And the head should be black with green. I mean, in terms of looking like that Jazz Laser Cycle, it's a 9.5, quite frankly. I'm going to put the tires behind the head just so we can see it kind of properly. You probably noticed that I have these stuck in the arms. I mean, that's up to you kind of what you do with that. So back here we take that, and of course we have a hole back here like in the neck section. I'm going to take a second now, and I'm going to, off screen here, just open the tires up. I think it would have been nice, I'll mention this, I think it would have been nice if the tires had some green on the inside, but I'm not angry with them having the green on the outside either. So, this whole piece here should be able to come back behind, and if I can just find the proper hole, yeah, go in behind. Ooh. Thusly, like that. So yeah, 9.5, I think that's okay. Let's do the articulation for this copy. The head goes left, it goes right, it can look up a bit and down a bit. The arms, they can go, well, they could go all the way around, out to the side all the way. 90 degrees at the elbow, bicep. The hands, yeah, the hands rotate, so that's neat. The waist of this one locks in. I'll talk about it after. The waist of this one locks in. We have a little bit of a waist wiggle. I wouldn't move it too much because it will sort of like, I don't want to say pop it, but it will kind of dislodge where it's tabbed in, so to speak. Legs out to the side, pretty much all the way. If you pushed it, you can get all the way. Leg forward, leg back, knee to 90 degrees, thigh swivel, bicep swivel too, if I didn't say it. Forward toe and back, forward ankle and back, and ankle tilt in. I mean, everything I could really kind of want. I'm going to give the articulation on this one, again, about a 9.5. Luckily, I'm very happy to say that I'm not having the issues with this mold so far anyway, as I had with Road Rocket. For example, with Road Rocket, I had these entire lower legs come off because the mushroom peg needed to be sanded down and put back. The waist absolutely never did lock in. I have thickened up the waist with some Bondic and now it does tab in. But again, I had to fix it. Both of the arms came off the pins. In fact, I think left one still likes to come off the pin. The head was very loose. This piece just did not stay on. I had to thicken up the rectangular slot, or the tab that goes into the rectangular slot. Basically, everything that could possibly be wrong with that mold was wrong with it. Right down to this waist piece here was like backwards and upside down. It should have been a source of embarrassment for them to even release it like that. But, you know, it is what it is. Right now, a 9.5. Since we're not doing the transformation, we can go from laser cycle looking like this to, of course, to our guy, that's right, looking like this. And our guy looking like this. And this is beautiful, honestly. If we kind of consider the original laser cycle again, the tires, I mean, they should have the little green outline, which they have. They should have the green seat, which is mimicked back here, as well as the yellow detailing on the side and the back, which it does quite nicely, including the fading aspect near the front. The green right on the very front is also accurate. Though, to be fair, where those two lights are, it would have been nice to have the number 21 like it's supposed to have. So we were doing a 9.5. The transformation actually worked really well with this mold. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I think that this is the way that this was always supposed to work. Road Rocket was a disappointment, but this guy, with his look, his articulation, and his transformation, clocks in at a solid 9.5. Color me shocked. And here we are once again, and here he is, and wouldn't you know it, he's actually really good. Now, I kind of gave him like glowing scores, which is a surprise to a lot of people, because I had the Road Rocket scored so terribly. I think it might have been like the worst of 2022, I believe, which surprised a lot of people because they like their RC or they like the Road Rocket. Mine was just terrible and everything had to be fixed on it. The aerial worked the way it should. This, shockingly, works the way it should. The only thing that kind of bothers me here is that A, they didn't come up with a more creative name than Laser Cycle. All you did was put the name of the gimmick on this guy, and I don't think it should have been Jazz. In fact, I think really they should have probably done this as Road Pig, but I get it, it's unreleased G2 colors, I understand that. The other thing is I do think that a little bit too much mass was given up. I think that this mold should have been just a little bit more robust. With all of the paint and the amount of parts and engineering in here, I can accept if we give up some mass. You know, you go down around 70 grams or something. I think I could accept that with everything else that we get for value. But all the way down to 56 is a bit much if you ask me. I'm happy that this one actually works. I don't need to fix anything on it, and the transformation was nice and smooth. If you've had positive experiences with this mold, then hopefully this will be another one. If you have not had positive experiences with this mold, well, this one is, again, going to be hit or miss. For me, it actually works the way it's supposed to, so I have to score it thusly. But keep that in mind, because if you get a copy and it has terrible QC, go back, watch my Road Rocket. You can see how harsh I get when the QC doesn't measure up. Let me know what you think about Laser Cycle. Did you get it? Did you pass? Do you like it? Do you not? I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, please hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here, inside the videos.